I think it should literally all be sent down a tube that goes straight into the pit of hell. And it should all be gone for forever. And then we should seal that tube so nothing comes back up. Well, I'm Matt.
And I'm Carter.
And I have a pet peeve.
And welcome back to IKAGA.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Welcome back to It's Kind of a Gray Area. I don't normally say it, so I get it wrong.
I make it look so easy, don't I?
It's so much more work than I thought. You're watching It's Kind of a Gray Area, only on Disney Channel. Nope, that's not it either.
Are we on ABC yet?
No.
CBS?
This is why you should do this.
I want to be on WB one day. No, CW.
Yeah.
WB, wow, does that even exist anymore?
No, it became the CW, I think.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I'm just really showing my age on that one. So, yeah, just to go back to my earlier comment, I have a pet peeve.
Yes, you do.
And I've gone on many rants about this, and you know what? It's time the world hears it.
So first of all,
go ahead.
I suggested we do this because it's become kind of a shorthand for us now.
Yeah.
Whenever we're annoyed with something, we'll go like, you know what? It's like, that's my flat paint. And you're going to find out what that means in this episode.
Yeah, all right. So flat paint. All right, so first off, the shade today is, should flat paint exist? And I would say right off the bat, frick no, okay? Frick no, because there is no reason for flat paint to exist, all right? I bought a house a number of years ago. I went to paint it, and I was like, hey, guy at Lowe's or Home Depot, I'm not going to specifically say one. It was the first one. What do I need to paint, like, my bathroom? Like what finish? You know, do I need, like, a semi-gloss, a gloss, a matte, like a semi-matte? There's not that. Or
is eggshell a type, or is that just a color?
Thank you. And the guy's like, oh, you want flat paint. I was like, I want flat paint for my bathroom? He's like, yeah, that's exactly what you want. It's like, it's perfect. You want to paint your ceiling with it.
So you should probably explain what flat paint is.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting to that.
Right.
All right, flat paint, all right, I'm just going to skip right to it. Flat paint sucks, all right? Flat paint is chalk in the paint form.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. You can take a wet rag, all right, and go, you can take your thumb and go, and it's gone. You got rid of it off your wall.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I'm getting really warm right now.
I guess that would be good for like set design. If you needed to like repaint something, you just use flat paint and then just literally wipe it off and then paint it something else.
I mean, you just paint right over top of it, I guess. Of course, then it'll probably mix in because chalk doesn't mix well. Because you're chalk flat paint.
Right.
But so I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, all right, so there's a lot of condensation on the ceiling of a bathroom. And he's like, oh, yeah, typically. Yeah, you take a hot shower, yeah. And I was like, all right, so you want me to use the thing that will wipe off with water in the bathroom? And he was like, well, just don't wipe the ceiling when it's wet. I'm like, what is happening?
Right. Because it shouldn't matter, right? Like, if it gets wet, it should, like, the paint will still end up, like, dripping off the ceiling,
It will, yes, which happened, all right? And which is why I was repainting it. Because the ceiling was flat paint when I bought the house.
As are a lot of bathrooms, apparently.
Yeah, apparently they just paint all the ceilings in houses. They just paint it with flat paint.
I guess it's the cheapest paint.
It's the cheapest one.
And they're not expecting you to ever make contact with it where it would just brush right off.
Yes.
So I get the logic behind it, which is why I'm on, not pro flat paint, but on when we get to the rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, you got to go in some direction. I clearly know what direction I'm going to go.
Right.
But it's useless. When do you use flat paint? I would love someone to tell me. You don't use it on a door, okay? You don't use it on your walls because you brush up against them, which I have brushed up against walls that are painted with flat paint. Guess what you get? You get chalk dust on your shirt.
Yep.
All right? No, I'm not having that. I don't have to feel like I can't touch the walls. The walls aren't lava, okay? The floor is. We all know this.
Right. Come on, grow up.
All right, so you can't paint the walls. You can't paint your bathroom ceiling. You can paint, your normal ceiling, but why would you paint it something that's not useful that you don't want to touch?
Because it's cheaper.
To buy like a few dollars.
This is coming from Matt.
Okay, yeah, I'm super cost aware.
Sure.
I'm cheap. But it's like, why does this exist? Everything in existence came from a need. Someone was like, we need this. And so they made it.
Right.
But the problem is, I think they made chalk paint and that was just paint. And then they're like, oh, this really sucks. We need eggshell. We need matte. We need semi-gloss. We need gloss.
Yeah, because those other ones have a different look. This is just like a different quality.
Yes.
It's like if you want it to not be shiny or you want it to be shiny, you go with glossy or you go with matte.
Yeah.
But this is just like, I want a crappier version of the thing that I need.
Yeah, and so I probably should have started out with this. So the very bottom of the barrel, just scraping the bottom, you got flat paint.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the cheapest in every sense of the word.
It would be like getting carpet that every time you walk on it, the fibers pull out of the carpet.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a perfect equivalent.
Yeah.
All right. One step up is eggshell. All right, which means it's like flat paint, but it's got a little bit of like a coating. Like you can
Probably
actually.
eggshell.
Yeah, it looks like an eggshell kind of sheen.
It's not as sexy as a normal egg, but I just wanted to say that. I had no other thing.
I had no rebuttal to that. It really threw me.
Who would?
So you got flat, you got eggshell, then you got matte, which is like just a little bit glossier.
Right.
Then you have semi-gloss, which is like pretty freaking glossy.
Yeah.
And then you've got gloss, which is basically like a laminate over your paint.
You got gloss.
You got gloss. That you could spray with a power washer and it is not coming off.
Right.
And it's awesome. But it shows all the little imperfections in the wall, so that's why people don't usually go with it.
Right. And it like reflects light into your eyes, and that can be annoying.
That's true. The walls do become reflective. So I guess flat paint isn't reflective at all.
Yeah, it's also not useful. So yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I get this level of feeling over something like that. We were talking about this the other day because my flat paint, at least lately, has been, and looking at camera reviews online, and people are like, ugh, you can't even do 4K. Single greatest movie of all time, by most people's consensus, was Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Was that shot in 4K? Are you better than the people who made Citizen Kane because you have 4K? I don't think so. People have shot whole movies off of iPhones.
Yeah.
And not 4K. That gets under my skin. I get the appeal of 4K footage. Don't get me wrong. Like, everyone likes sharper images.
Sure.
I just think it's stupid to only base your decisions off of 4K ability. Also, 4K files are insanely big. You shoot like a 1-minute video and it's like, yeah, it's 128 gigs. Like, holy crap, that is too much.
And the average person can't tell the difference between a 1080p and a 4K.
I tell you right now, if you were shooting like a project for someone, like doing video work,
Yeah.
and the client was like, oh, is this in 4K? You're like, oh, this is actually an 8K. And then you just shot it in 1080, no one would ever know. It's not as significant as people pretend that it is. And I just get annoyed with like camera snobs that like obsess over that. And if you're someone who obsesses over that, I get it, but I think you're focused on the wrong things. You should be more focused on like what you're shooting and how you're shooting it and whether it's worth something to be shooting than just the final like crazy detailed image.
So I want to ask you guys, what's your flat paint?
Yeah, comment below and let us know.
I would love to read those comments. So please
Yeah.
think of that thing that is your flat paint, your pet peeve. You're like, why does this exist? And I'm infuriated that it exists.
Right.
It can't be a person. You can't be like, my sister. I'm furious that she exists.
Right. You could, but, you know, be nice to your sister.
Yeah, come on. Don't make her a flat paint.
Right. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and rock, paper, scissors this thing. I'm going to say flat paint does have some uses. It's cheaper than other paint, so if you don't need it to be good, then go with flat paint.
I think it should literally all be sent down a tube that goes straight into the pit of hell. And it should all be gone forever. And then we should seal that tube so nothing comes back up.
Right.
I just really want to insist that.
Both paint and demons.
So that paint doesn't come back. Haunted.
Demonic flat paint.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, yeah, let's do this.
All right, should flat paint exist? Here we go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! I'm so angry at the universe.
I'm sorry, Matt, but flat paint has its uses. The
Okay.
universe has weighed in.
I'm going to say flat paint deserves people that are considered flat paint, and that's why it exists.
Like that guy's sister.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to a lighter topic for the show.
Can we please? I'm going to break a blood vessel.
Now that we're past the rant portion.
Okay.
So today's Would You Rather. Would you rather have been one of the Beatles, and I mean like core band members, not like their original drummer that they then kicked out right before they got famous and then forever missed out on being one of the Beatles.
Oh, I was going to say horned beetle, but okay, I'm glad you went with that.
Right. Or be one of the first people to have be the first man to set foot on the moon.
Would I still be me, or would I
You would be you. You would replace Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong? Okay. I don't
And
want to.
same thing with the Beatles. It's not like you would then be John Lennon or someone. You would be Matt, but you would have been musically talented enough and around the time
I'd be musically talented.
to have joined and been a part of the Beatles.
Yeah, so I'd be like the token American.
No, you probably would have ended up being British. Your
No.
life would definitely be different. I mean, for one thing, you would have been born a lot sooner.
So basically, I would be famous, musically famous.
Right.
I guess really worldwide famous because of my music for my entire life.
Yeah.
Starting at 15.
Crazy rich, instantly
it was.
recognizable everywhere.
Yeah.
Segue that fame into a lot of lucrative deals.
Or be the first man on the moon. I assume I come back it's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
just like they did.
So I would be famous in that regard, but that kind of phase, like you have that fame, but it's kind of like, oh, you were famous 20 years ago. Like, oh, that was really cool, that thing that you did, and then you kind of move on.
Right.
But if you're one of the Beatles, it's like you're constantly putting out stuff. People absolutely love you for their entire life. You're not a rock star if you are the first man on the moon. You're not. You're famous for an event that's amazing.
Right.
But you got to go to space.
Yeah, see, I'm not really held up on the fame aspect of this. My answer is to replace Neil Armstrong and have been the first man on the moon. I'm not super concerned, much like Neil Armstrong, with the fame regarding that. It's more just the intense, like, excitement and fear and anticipation of that entire trip to the moon and the entire way back of being the first person to do something so incredible, which, to be fair, other people made it to the moon and orbited it and came back before that mission.
Yeah.
But this is the first time anyone has set foot on any land that is not Earth. And
That's pretty cool.
you'll forever be that person in history. But on top of that, I mean, to just look down on the Earth and see it in the distance like that, I can't imagine how cool that feels. How much that must put everything in the world into perspective.
That's true. That's true. I think I would go with that. I would go with first man on the moon.
Yeah.
Yep, and I would fight you for it.
I like to think that, like, right before I would die, like, as I'm, like, laying in bed, like, drifting away, like, the last thing I would see in my head would just be that serene calm of the lunar surface and the blue earth in the distance. And then I just drift off and wake up in hell surrounded by flat paint. It's everywhere! Why did we send it here?
How do we paint the floors in it? I'm tracking it everywhere.
Right.
Oh my gosh. That'd be my nightmare.
Well, we found out that flat paint, sadly, it has to exist.
Should exist.
Yeah. And we would both like to be the first man on the moon. And you know what? If you have to go first, I'm fine being Buzz Armstrong. I mean, Buzz Aldrin. They weren't brothers or lovers, as far as we know. Let's go ahead and wrap this episode up before we get sued. So if you guys like this episode, there are lots of other ones you can check out.
That's true.
We talk about other things like space, and we might have mentioned the Beatles before. I'm not sure. There's one way to find out, though. Rewatch every episode that we've ever made.
Yep, you can do that. But in the meantime, remember to comment, like, and push that subscribe button.
And never open your mail in public.
Ring the notification bell.
Apply head on directly to the head.
And remember, a hero is only as good as his weapon. It's a quote from Disney's Hercules.
Nice.
And as always,
IKAGA. Yup.